Ready?
All right.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 7 of the Rick Chappell podcast. This time with special guest, Piper.
Yeah.
You lived here, so that's what qualifies you to be on this now.
I'm so glad that I can, open this new era for your podcast.
I feel like my last roommate, Brandon, will be upset because he deserves a spot as well on here.
Just
but
call him back next episode.
Didn't do this last time. Brandon, you have 1 week's notice. You get here. But actually, if he ever does feel like it, just come on, hang out, dude. I'll have to... Actually, he's a lot taller than you, but this shot might still work. We'll see. We'll see. What's on the list to talk about, man? What do we want to discuss? It's been a fun couple days.
Your plans yesterday and how they very much did not happen.
Okay. Oh, good. I did talk about that actually on here last week because that was a big plan. I'm doing strings for the new record. Yeah. And our mutual friend Chris Savage, who we worked with there at Long McQuaid, he has been playing violin for me on top of all this stuff, which has been really cool. And the only thing is I got to go to his house to do it. Not the end of the world. He lives in Mission. Mission is not far. I got home from work, got everything packed up because I have the mics and the interfaces and everything, and then got in the car and realized that my clutch was not working in any way, shape, or form. So I spent 45 minutes changing all the fluid out of it, angrily pumping. My legs are still sore. And then by the end of a full fluid swap, it still didn't work. So I didn't record any strings. And I stayed home. And it's I don't know, I'm budgeting $500, I bet, to get this thing 100% fixed. That's where I'm at.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, so that's cool.
But I mean, you've been dealing with that crappy clutch for a while, though. So, hopefully this would fix it.
It's last year this problem started.
Yeah.
And I fixed it just by doing the fluid swap.
Yeah.
This year it got worse, and then the fluid swap didn't fix anything.
Yeah.
Basically is where we're at.
Well, I mean, at least you got to Vancouver and back to pick me up. We didn't get stranded.
This is true. And we made it to the open mic and back.
We did.
Let's talk about the open mic. Did anything terrible or fun happen there? Who was there? There was the rapper guy.
Yeah.
He's a time.
That was
Psycho Simon or whatever it was. And then who else? Let's just go in order, at least if we can remember a little bit. Tony, obviously. Tony's good.
Yeah, so it was the rapper dude and then that Micah girl. The keyboard girl. Yeah.
She was super nervous but really good.
Yeah, no, she was really good.
Okay,
I really enjoyed her.
I've had the songs she sang stuck in my head in the past couple of days.
The Miranda,
fix your makeup, girl.
Miranda Lambert song.
Yeah, fuck that song. It's been in my brain. And then who went after that?
Was it that Terrace guy?
Yes, or at least we'll go with that. From what was it, 12 hours or 16 hours
14.
away? It's a fucking drive and a half.
That's a long ways, yeah.
He was down from Terrace. I don't remember his name, but...
Bobby something? I think.
Bobby sounds right. I don't know why.
He's a dog named Rodeo.
I remember that part clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. And then... What else happened? Eventually, I got up there and I was more asleep than I am right now. And this is slightly asleep. So we made it through. Actually, I got video back from 2 different angles of The Faith, the George Michael song. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was good from what I've seen.
I thought that one went really, really well. I don't remember whatever the last one was.
The encore last one?
No,
or the last one?
Last one of your planned 3.
That was...
There was one really high note that you definitely struggled with, but honestly, other than that, you're fine.
That was Maybe I'm Amazed by Paul McCartney. Mm. And I'm pretty sure the high note that I broke the fuck down on was at the very end. I do a different outro because the song's really, really long. So it's intro... No, what's the structure? It's intro, verse, chorus, solo, chorus, verse, solo, chorus, outro, and that's it. So all these double solos in it, it just gets way too long, in my opinion.
Fair. I completely zoned out when you were telling me the structure of that song, too.
Cool.
It was
We're just
long.
going to play it back and you're just going to be staring at the ground.
Yeah, I moved my mic over and I would, gone. I know it was long, though, because by the time I did that, you were still talking about the structure
That's
of
part of the problem.
song, so.
That does add up to why I don't like it. Oh, I love it. But anyways, I delete one of the solos and then move it around just to kind of make it all fit. But then I add an outro just so people that know the song will be like, oh, it's over now. You know what I mean? Like,
That's fair, yeah.
and it works okay. But yeah, I don't know what key that song is in. So in the outro, I do like what is it? Like just one of those. But I just go between B flat major and G major. And I'm always struggling to find what notes to sing between those two chords. You know what I mean? So I was like, like it ends on like a bluesy fucking like. It works when I get it right.
It's just jazz.
True. But I feel like jazz people are supposed to know what key they're in. That's why they're so snobby. What else is on our
I don't
list?
know. I'm not a jazz person.
You're going to university though for
and then
fucking music.
there was that random person that showed up in the middle of all the encores, did one song, played music off of their phone,
Dropping
and
Country Girl.
left.
That was a
Also
vibe.
Miranda Lambert's song.
I love that she was just like in my head. It starts at 6:30 and she started getting ready at 8, and then she couldn't be there too late. So I think because I got kicked out at 9, right? That was the rule for her.
Yeah,
So she rolled
was
in at,
definitely under 8:19.
Yeah. So she rolled in at like 8:45, and then I don't remember them like staying or like being there for anybody else's songs though.
No, showed up when that Bobby dude went on for an encore.
And was like, "Hey,
talked to Tony.
get him out of there."
Yeah,
And then they swappity swappity'd.
Yeah, it was fine.
And I keep trying to convince Tony to buy a Bluetooth adapter. I know this is riveting podcast content. We talk about a guy named Tony nobody knows about.
Yeah.
But I keep trying to get him to buy one of those Bluetooth things, man. They're so good. And he may inevitably want to be one of the 20 people that watches this. So Tony, I'll give you Monster Day deals or something, man. Just get one of them Bluetooth things. It'll be awesome. We didn't even put open mic on this list. How did we not do that? We made it up to the encores now, though. So, like, okay,
Yeah.
and then Bobby came back.
And played like 4 songs.
No. There was one person before the encore. There was Scott. Scotty Neighbor. The guy who fucking screamed.
There was 2. The Cody kid.
Oh, yeah,
And-
Cody. Yeah, Cody. Cody's just good. He's just a kid who played good acoustic songs.
No.
But then, Cody.
No,
Kid.
the one that, like, made the weird... That was
kid,
Cody,
too, yeah.
isn't it?
No, okay, no, you're right. There's more people forget about it.
Yeah.
There was Cody, who played, like, a dark brown guitar and played it really well. Like,
Okay,
complicated
yeah.
songs. Then he had a friend who was, like, on a different planet.
Yeah. Who was the one that we
Didn't
didn't
understand
like.
that I had a website.
Yeah.
Some people.
You need to get a WhatsApp now.
I guess so. I hail our new Chinese overlords. And then there was Scott, who was the guy who was yelling, and then with the drunk old lady who came up.
Oh, yeah.
So I say Scott yells only because, like, that's his vocal style. Like,
Yeah, it was really, really loud. He was
he just
good,
cranked
but
up
it
the
was
microphone.
too loud.
I love how
Kinda
Tony's
hurt.
on stage playing with him, though. So he's like, well, the mic level's where it's at. So, like, the sound, you can hear what's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
But, okay, my favorite part of that story is still the drunk lady. Because after he, like, screams some not metal songs, he opened up. This is the important part of the story. His first song of the 3 he got to do was the Beatles, but a more Joe Cocker version of Come Together. So Joe Cocker does that in the movie Across the Universe. It's a musical, and they feature some artists. Bono's in it. Joe Cocker's in it. Joe Cocker does that song, and he sings it like Joe Cocker. Scott plays it in the same key and sings it a lot like Joe Cocker. At the end of Scott's performance, some drunk lady in the back yells at him to do some Joe Cocker songs, and he's drowning out his guitar by singing too loud. And then the place just went silent. Like, I don't even
But she also said that he had to dial down
Oh, yeah.
his voice a little bit, too.
But she started by just being like, you stay on stage. Don't you leave. Don't you leave. Don't you... Like, she was just all of
Yeah.
a sudden the phantom of this
Everyone
opera.
was so confused. I felt bad for Scott, because, like, he just kind of, like, stopped, like, mid-step and, like, looked over.
Well, the part I really didn't understand was that he played a Joe Cocker song.
Yeah.
Like, her request had already been fulfilled.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, can we kind of head to the very end now when we left and she was at the bar and all we heard her say was, I still had a mouthful after that.
Oh, is that the same lady?
Yeah,
I kind of figured, but I didn't know for sure.
No, that was the drunk old blue hair, man. She was great.
Wow.
She was great. Okay, and then after Scott, then it was Encores. So then the guy went up, and then the girl who was young and all that shenanigan happened after Scott got yelled at. So we can't forget about the Scott part.
Yeah.
And then at some point I played an encore, and I tried to do... I was torn between 2 songs, honestly. I didn't think about it. I was going to do 2, then the guy before me seemed to do like 5, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just do 1, it's fine. So I did You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette, which was a little rough because it's high. But I was considering doing Messiah, the song off the record that I was talking about it the whole fucking last episode, I think. Because we were going to record the guitar solo today, which is another thing we were going to talk about. And then we didn't, because the guy we were going to do that with just said we weren't going to be able to do it.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I didn't know what song it was for.
No,
I just knew that it was supposed to happen.
All that song. I guess I'm writing down the things that I had wished I had written down here so I can keep track of this, even though, like, that was a plan to talk about Messiah, even though it fell through, because we didn't do that today. You did experience, like, okay, so you lived in here for how long? Like a month and a half, 2 months?
A month and a half-ish,
Pretty much. Did I actually record anything or do anything while you're in here? I don't think... Like, there's one time I was doing a podcast, you wandered on in because you came home from work. But I don't think I, like, made any videos that you were actually just, like, hidden behind the corner of, or, like, did much music recording while you were just chilling.
Not
Today
really.
I finally did some acoustic guitars
like,
for a thing.
I was always fine with you doing it. Like, I just kind of laid
Fair.
on the bed in the corner, but...
But I didn't really.
You
It was your room, so it's like... It's your room.
I feel like this week is better because, like, I'm only here for a week. You don't really care.
True.
And
I
I
got
also
shit
don't
to do,
care.
you know?
Yeah, you do.
I was supposed to have strings and guitar solos and all these great... Like, the one song that was supposed to be so much larger by today is no different. But at least I did some other bits that I didn't expect. So it's not like I've been useless on it. Like, we've been making slow progress. So that's one other thing we were going to talk about. We did talk about the clutch. I don't want to talk about the clutch anymore. It's just making my head hurt. But the one part about the clutch we should talk about is the first time it kind of got weird was around that time way back when I was driving with an expired license.
Like 8-month expired license.
Yeah, it was so bad. But I hadn't been driving for like 6 months. So that was like my license expired and I also wasn't driving, so it was on a low priority to fix.
Yeah.
And then I got my car, and then it was my car tires exploded and everything, so I wasn't driving for like a month there. That was why I hadn't done it at that crucial time. But anyways, I got the tires on my car and I had to go drive it around just to like get it to settle in before the alignment was done and everything. And then I randomly just hit a roadblock in the middle of, what was it, like a Wednesday night, Thursday night?
Yeah, it was like middle of the week.
Yeah, nothing special. Hit a roadblock, and I'm like, oh my god, my tires stick out like an illegal amount. I haven't got my fenders put on there yet. This is going to be awful. The guy's like, hey, how's it going? Like, got your license? I'm like, yep. Boom. And as soon as I handed it to him, I was like, oh fuck. And he's like, I'm like, I'm a little expired, aren't I? He's like, yeah. So I had to do the whole, like, pull over, call family, call anybody to drive me and the car home. I can hear my cat vomiting.
Great.
Nice. But anyways, none of my family answered, so you had to come.
Yeah.
And you told me you had driven standard.
I didn't... Okay, no, I was very specific in what I told you. You asked if I could, and I said I had before.
Yep.
It had been a couple years. And I had driven one car in standard.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I heard.
I did tell you everything. And then you still ripped on me after all of this.
What was this? The car is an important detail. I feel like that word, you threw that in there. What was the one car you learned on? Because that's not what you said once we got going.
I don't know what kind of car it was.
Wasn't it a fucking John Deere tractor?
No, I have driven one standard car.
Okay.
Before this.
But
Tractors, made me learn how it works.
There it is.
But there was a car that I drove when I was 16.
Okay, but your main prevalence of standard excellence is a tractor.
I did tell you all of this.
Yes.
In the moment.
But
you just didn't have a choice.
This is very true. Also, I just got a big sneeze coming on. I was like, oh no, please no. We'll be fine. It'll go away.
Just push on the end of your nose.
My whole head will go clunk, and then I'll hear better again. That was literally... Was that this time last year? I feel like it was like August or so, July. It was hot as hell. It was in the middle of the summer. Maybe it was September.
I don't know, but we didn't actually tell the story of me driving it.
Oh, yeah, you did that part. You did that.
Okay.
I'm gonna get some water.
I don't know. It was like 8 o'clock at night or something like that.
Yeah, you took a little time to fucking get there, man. You had to Uber and shit.
Yeah, well, I had to Uber to you because I was home alone. So I made them drop me off in this random corner. And I was about to get out of the car, and this cop walks over, and he's like, "What are we doing?" And I was like, "Going to pick up my friend because he's stupid and didn't update his license." So anyways, they told us to go down a little bit, and then I got out and walked over. And
the roadblock was like all gone at that point. It was
just like the last couple cops to like
make sure I didn't just drive away.
Yeah, pretty much. And then so I walk over and I get in a Corvette, and I've never been in a Corvette, and it's really low to the ground. I fell into your car.
That is true. It's you crawl.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, and then stalled it immediately.
To be fair, it was like, just put it in reverse, and first time letting out the pedal. Okay, like, I didn't even react to that. That's fine. Totally chill. And then you did fine. Like, you did pretty good. We got out of the driveway there.
We did. You
didn't really understand the lowness when I was like, turn.
Like, if you had explicitly said, this is a really low car, I would have clued in faster.
How did you start the story when you got into it, and you're like, I forgot how what it was? How low it was?
Yeah, I know. But see, like, I didn't connect those dots. Okay. You know? Like,
it's just that when you're leaving a driveway, you gotta, like, turn, right? There's, like, angles to the
I totally understand why.
Yeah. And I was like, turn. And you're like, I'm turning. And I was like, fucking right hand down, Piper. Let's crank the wheel, man.
Yeah, that's your foot.
That was my foot. We didn't do too bad, though. Like, it was just a minor little scrape.
No, I was more worried that, like, I wasn't over far enough to crank it, and I thought I was going to go over the curb, which I figured would be worse.
Very fair. That was the only thing about the curb that sketched me out, was, like, the big wheels were on the car at that point.
Yeah.
So it was wider than ever before. And then later on, when we, like, pulled up to a curb, I was like, as you're pulling over, I'm like, okay, we're very close to that curb.
Oh, yeah,
like, because my wheels are sticking out 1.5 inches past normal. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird. And I really didn't want to scrape one of those fucking things.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But no, you didn't stall when we were driving at all. Like, I started to shift for you, but you were still launching just fine. And there was, like, hills involved and a cop, like, right behind us for a while.
Yeah, and I didn't go the speed limit. I thought I was, but
There's literally a graphic on your windshield that tells you how fast you're going. It's
I totally thought I was.
And you're like, 35.
No, wasn't it 60 at the time, and I was going like 50 on that road? I'm pretty sure.
That road it's a 50 now. Actually,
it's
they changed it, which I hate.
But I'm pretty sure it was a 60, and I was going 50.
I think you were doing like high 40s.
Okay. Well, it's still closer. If it was a 50 road, it would have been better.
Exactly. Better. You were aiming for 50. And then we did have to switch eventually. And then I drove it actually home the last little bit.
Yeah.
Just because it was... Well, also, like, I had to drop you off at home. And then I had to get home because you weren't living here at that point.
Yeah. We only lived like a kilometer away, though, so...
That's why I called you, is because I figured the drive from your place to my place at the very end that I would have to do, like, super illegally.
It's literally one street in a corner.
Yeah. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
How far are we so far? Hey, we're 20 minutes, man. We're eating up time.
Wow.
How many topics have we done? Can you... let's
like
just put that
4?
on the table.
I don't know.
Can you see if you can push that over so it's not on screen, since you can also see the monitor? Hey! Go team.
Wow.
I have to sneeze so bad. I'm almost thinking of hitting pause and, like, sneezing. Do you want to take over about living in a studio for a couple minutes? What it's been like to be in this random room?
Oh, man. I guess so.
We just pumped a bed in the corner, but beyond that, this is not a bedroom really anymore.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Okay, I have to sneeze.
Yeah, I can talk about that. So, like, I was pretty much evicted. Kind of. My roommate was, and then I had to find a place because, like...
I forgot you were evicted.
Yeah. Well, like, I wasn't, but I couldn't afford it, so I had to move. But I was only going to be here for another, like, month and a half before I went back to Ontario for the summer. So, you graciously... Well, not graciously. You needed rent money.
I was like, that could come in handy, I bet. Yeah, some extra cash.
It's like a month and a half you have to suffer with another person here.
I didn't hate you.
Yeah.
I was like, I think this might possibly work.
Yeah, it'll be okay. So then I found a bed, just a twin bed, and we've shoved it in the corner.
And it fits surprisingly well. Like, I didn't have to move my desk. Like, I think I moved the desk like half an inch.
Yeah.
Like literally just to sandwich it in there.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure I'm selling it once you're gone, though.
That's
Like, I think
valid.
it's
You
just-
might as well.
It's done its time. Yeah, I never use
Yeah.
it. But anyways.
Yeah. This room would feel so much bigger without it too. Like I don't know this room without the bed.
Yeah. Well, you came to see it like one time
Once,
before, just to be
but
like, hey, do you want to live in this
That was
apartment?
it.
Yeah.
And I think I tried to learn how to take care of Nookie, and then I couldn't get in your building.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was that time too.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
That was like a couple weeks before I moved in, I think.
Yeah. Where was I?
I think you were up in Princeton
That sounds about right.
for like a long weekend or something.
Yeah. It was somebody's something. Some
Yeah.
show up there.
I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, so then moved in here, brought all of my things, had a breakdown the first night in a Wendy's parking lot.
We went to that Wendy's the other
Yeah,
day to
the
bring
other
it full
day.
circle.
Yeah.
Can we just reiterate real quick that I didn't cause that breakdown?
No.
Like, doesn't sound great.
Sorry, yeah. No, that was just me, like, not brain wrapping around a lot of change happening all at once. Anyways.
Fair.
Um,
For those that don't know, I guess we should like very briefly intro that you're like not from here. Like you're
Oh,
from Ontario, and then you moved out here for like just a break here
Yeah.
before school and whatnot. So like yeah,
Like,
for
2
that
years.
night you were definitely like on your own, pretty good, like
yeah, like,
miles and miles and miles away from mommy and daddy and stuff. Like it's a
yeah,
time.
it was a lot. I had, like, yeah, I had nobody. I was mildly homeless.
This is you're not homeless.
No, but it was weird.
Yeah, fair.
And, like, I didn't expect to be, like, just such a temporary place. Anyways,
Yeah.
we survived, moved in. Yeah.
I don't think we did really much at all for the first couple weeks. Like we kind of just went to work.
Really?
And then
We got drunk.
Well, yeah. I think we mentioned already that we worked together. I'm forgetting how much to intro and how much background knowledge
Yeah.
people need to have here. But we saw each other at work all the time, so it wasn't even like that. It
Yeah.
didn't feel all that different. It was just kind of like I couldn't go in here in the morning, and that was it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, it was kind of funny, like, the first few weeks, just trying to figure out how, like, the dynamic worked. And I was like, and, like, my door would be totally open, and you'd be like, can I come in? I was like, yes,
I want a
door
guitar.
open.
Yeah.
You can come in anytime. I don't care.
It was usually because I wanted a guitar. That's okay. In every podcast except for this one, I'm playing a guitar.
Yeah.
And so far, it's not going to be a thing for all of them. It's not a dependable process, but so far it's been a different one every time. I will run out inevitably, and then I'll go back to whichever ones I feel like. But for now, again, I didn't get to pick one to do this week. Do I have a favorite guitar of yours or anything? You've lived with them forever. You're not a musician. This is a random side tangent, but like I don't know, all the cool ones are in here. They're kind of within eye shot. Is there anyone that's dope? I'll tell you
I
a story
don't
about it.
remember this one being here last time, but I've been staring at it this whole,
Is
like,
it the white
4
one you're talking
days.
about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know why, but that one's been, like, the one I keep looking at all the time.
here before, but I've had it forever.
Yeah.
Or if it wasn't in here before, it was there.
Mm.
A lot of the times, this one just chills next to all the bases because it's the same shape and black, white, gray, silver. It all looks right. This is I've done an episode on this one already. How do I frame this for? Hey, look at that. Professionally lit, motherfuckers. Hey, and if I get
Miny.
look at the fretboards, gets the reflection or it doesn't, and we're moving on. Anyways. Some people think this is a left-handed guitar in videos because the headstock's backwards, but then sometimes I remember I'm just showing drunk people at the bar, and that's why they don't quite realize it. But anyways, this is a Hendrix Strat, so it's kind of leftied-ish, kind of not. And yeah, I've had it for definitely longer than you've been here. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And funny enough, you told me to keep this guitar, like last year.
Without knowing what it looked like.
No, I brought it to work too. Like you have
did
seen it,
I?
I'm sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't remember it. I've seen so many guitars now, and I don't play guitar, so they all just look the same to me.
There's ones that were in here when you lived here that are not here anymore too. So like shit's coming. There was that blue flamey one. That
Well,
was
I remember that
the
one.
most visually.
Yeah, I saw that one.
You unboxed
at
it
work.
before I did.
No, like on Friday when I went in.
Oh yeah. No one's
It's-
bought it yet.
Yeah, it's like on the rack.
It's so good. I don't know why no one will buy that thing.
Because it looks like a Hot Wheel.
Yeah, and that's the fun of it. Okay, I guess this podcast episode doesn't really support the old guitar playing thing. because my knee will be forever in the way. I think I just saw a bug suicide himself right into that light.
Love that.
I feel like Kevin is good at getting bugs. Like, that's why I have cats. Like, I love them. They're adorable. But, like, I don't want to deal with bugs, and I'm kind of a messy person. So you get some cats in there. No bugs, no spiders involved. But, like, I've killed some spiders so far this year. And spiders, I blame on both cats. If it flies, that's just Kevin. If it crawls, Nookie's in this game, too. Like, that's her domain, is the floor. I feel like she should really rule it. And yeah, I've killed too many spiders so far this year, man. They're snoozing.
Like,
there was a big ass one in my kitchen too. Like, it crawled up from under the fridge, and I was like, oh fuck.
I hate BC house spiders. They're way bigger than the ones in Ontario.
Oh really?
Yeah, like straight up.
I always feel like to complain about the bugs out here is nothing, because I think like Australia and like crazy places like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I
it's
couldn't
not
do
a
that.
knife and whatnot.
Yeah, but no, like when Peter and I first moved out here, and we were like, that's my partner, by the way. Anyways,
Cool, Petey.
like we saw a spider, and like we got closer to it, and we're like, holy heck.
Are they actually that much bigger? Like, I've lived
Yeah.
in BC my whole life. I didn't know this was a thing.
Like, I find that the bodies are bigger on the ones here. Maybe not the legs. Like,
Okay.
the most common spider, at least in my part of Ontario, was like a daddy long leg. So their body
those
are
are
tiny.
super common out here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those were
That's a
that's
thing.
pretty much all we got.
Okay.
Like, at least that's the main one. There was definitely other ones, and like
I feel like we're the same though. But no, there's like another predominant main one you've noticed out here.
it's like, I don't know. Is it like a brown recluse or something?
Sounds like
I feel like I've looked it up.
that sounds like
but
a
I
house
don't remember.
spider.
But I think that's like a poisonous one, and I don't think.
No, they're definitely not poisonous because
Yeah.
they're literally everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, your spiders scare me.
We were going to talk about 2 work stories, and we're kind of actually there's 3 work stories to throw in there. 2 of them are close. We'll start with the homeless people essentially, because
Yeah.
where we live right now,
Yeah.
and where I currently work still,
Yeah.
is not a good part of town.
Awful.
Just no secrets there. Good old Clearbrook, Abbotsford. And one of the fun things that happens at work fairly often, and here it'll happen way out front, but it's a condo, so it doesn't,
Yeah.
you don't notice it nearly as much.
Also, you're on the second floor, so like it doesn't affect you.
Bingo. At work, it's like right outside. So there'll be people like just straight up smoking meth and doing heroin and just vibing, living their best lives. And there was one night, this was the middle of winter, right? This was like December.
It was December because
February.
we were on late hours.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
that's exactly
because I
it.
worked until 9, but you and
So
Colton
did
worked
a couple
until
of you,
8. Yeah.
So we're just vibing in there, and some homeless lady just comes crashing in the front door
With a pizza box.
with a pizza box, puts it up on the counter, and we're like, "Hello, you doing okay? What's going on?"
and she's like hunched
shut
over.
down. Yeah, just like, boom. So she's crashing hard. You called an ambulance, I think, or did Jolene?
No, it was me. Chris and Jolene came out later,
Okay.
but Colton was kind of like, "Are you okay?" Like trying to see if like she was responsive, and
Yeah.
then she kind of wasn't. So then one of us went to get a stool first,
So she can sit down. Yeah.
and he sat her on that, and she like was not.
Because it was just a stool. We
cooperating.
put her on a literal like bar stool.
Yeah.
And she's fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, so we're like, this is gonna end bad.
Yeah.
Like, the stools are high too. So.
Yeah, so then I called 911, which was a trip within itself. Like, I had never called 911 before,
Oh, there you go.
which is surprising, actually.
Yeah, you've been the reason.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, a couple times. And, yeah, so I called, and then they're like, what do you need? And I was like, ambulance. And they're like, all right. So then they, like, patched me through to the ambulance dispatch. And then they're like, what do you think it is? It's like, probably an overdose.
Yeah.
And she's
Very
like,
clear.
okay, we're kind of busy tonight. And I was like, wow.
It's
like,
lots of them. Yep.
I didn't know what to expect, but like, that doesn't really surprise me, but it also surprised me at the same time.
They got there in what, like a half hour?
It was a fire truck that showed up
Yeah,
first.
first responders. Like that's what it
And
comes down to.
then, yeah, like the firemen walked in.
But like, how long was it? Like a half hour, 45 minutes, or something? Like it took a while, but I feel like it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like
insane.
right before 8 that she came in, and it was probably like 8:30, 8:40 by the time
Okay,
they
yeah.
showed
Like
up,
even though
so.
they were crazy busy and whatnot, it wasn't like this is ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
it felt
Yeah. Like,
unexpected.
the lesson center wasn't closed yet.
That's just it. We were still open, and we should have been at work.
Yeah. Well, half of it was open.
And then at one point when we switched her down to the chair, I remember Jolene thought this part of the story was funny, so we should tell it.
Yeah.
Because we had to get her from a stool to a chair. So you brought over just like a regular plastic chair.
Yeah.
And she couldn't get it. She was like completely unresponsive in every way, shape, and form.
Yeah.
So we like lift her up to the chair, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what did I say? What was the funny bit? Wasn't it like
have no
take a
idea.
deep breath or something? I was like, oh, big sigh, big sigh.
yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, I forgot about
And Jolene
that.
thought I should be a male nurse, and I was like,
You would be awful.
it's so bad.
You
I
have
hate
no
it.
empathy.
No, I was just making fun of her at the time to try to get myself through it.
Yeah.
It was it
Yeah.
was terrible. And then
I felt so bad for Colton because he had to like hold her up.
Yeah, well, I wasn't touching her much.
Yeah.
Like I did not want to be in.
And I was on the phone. I had a reason to not
You were
be
busy.
near it.
You were helping. Yeah, you were doing your thing. And then we got her into the chair, and then they showed up, got her. But the best part of the whole
eventually we had to get her on the floor. They told us to put her on the floor, I think, like in case she seized or something.
Oh, I think I did such a bad job helping from the stool to the chair. I didn't help for that move, and I don't remember that part. Like I think that was Colton and Chris.
Yeah, I don't know. But she got on the floor, and then when the firemen showed up,
That's the best.
when
part.
it's the firemen that know your name and walk in and say, "Hey, Amber," you know it's bad.
Oh, dude! And then when they like wake her up, because she wakes up when it's them, right? Like everybody's brain does when
Well,
they see like authority
they
figures.
Narcan her.
True, yeah. So she's like kind of she's more
Yeah.
with it, and then she's like, oh, don't let me forget my pizza.
Well, the paramedics showed up.
Yeah.
Like, as the
Oh.
firemen shot her with Narcan and, like, got her awake, they came so they could actually take her to the hospital. It wasn't the firemen that took her.
Gotcha. And that's when they were like, don't forget the pizza.
Yeah, Amber was, like, they were, like, half out the door carrying her.
Was she on a stretcher?
No,
or
she was walking. They had just, like, wrapped
Heavily
their
supported
arms.
her, yeah.
Yeah. And then she was like, the box, the pizza box. And we're like, that's your priority right now?
Well, I was like, this is hers. Please,
Yeah.
please take this out of our
Yeah.
store. It may be full of drugs. It may be full of pizza. We don't know. But it was
Yeah.
her nightly plan.
Yeah.
And
What
that's
a
the story of
time.
Amber. That's my favorite of the crazy drug addict, homeless people stories. You have one more just that you dealt with a bunch, which was that one crazy
Yeah.
guy who, because usually late at night it was just you there,
Yeah, it was.
so inevitably you had more issues.
Yeah, I was always there until like 9ish, and the restaurant right next to us would give like free meals to homeless people, which is great. I
Super
love
cool.
that they do
Yeah.
that, but they tell them to go in front of our store, and like
Because they
I've
don't
got-
want them to wait in front of their door.
Yeah, but like I have kids and parents walking in and out for hours.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, this is so stupid. Anyways, so one night this guy is like hanging out in front of the windows. So like, it's all basically glass there, so like you can see everything. And
And this guy looks rough too. Like I know the one we're talking about.
yeah,
He's like
he's
well
not
known to us.
like a friendly looking dude.
No, he definitely has lived. I don't know if he even lives outside. Like he doesn't look like that kind of rough.
No.
He's just on drugs a lot and has
Like-
used drugs a
Like
lot.
you
and
can't say anything to him and he won't comprehend it.
Yeah, he's not on the same planet
Like
we
at
are on.
all,
Yeah.
ever.
Oh, because that's the same guy who was like, I come and like gonna get lessons
Yeah.
from my wife. And we're like, sure, Borat. Fucking get out.
Anyways, so he's like outside the window, like clearly doing drugs, and has a little pouch, like Narcan pouch,
In case of drugs, you know.
but it's full of needles. Like,
Not
it's
good
not
ones.
Narcan.
Yeah, he just used the case.
yeah, which I found really ironic.
It's resourceful.
Anyways, so he was
Like
like,
we said, he's experienced.
yeah. And luckily Cheryl was there. She was done at like 6, but just hung out with me. And this dude was like loitering there. So I was like, he can't be here. So I went outside and I was like, hey, you can't be around here. Like I got people moving in and out a lot. Like, can you just like
There's kids.
go somewhere else? Gone over his head. There was nothing, like no computing happening in his head. And I was like, okay. So then I went back in for a little bit. And probably like 15-20 minutes later, he was still there, and then now he's like banging stuff on the windowsill
Because
outside.
now the drugs have kicked in. Now he's high.
Yeah, and I know he's got lighters, and that there was other paraphernalia of some kind. I don't know. I tried to block it out. I didn't really pay attention because I just knew it was bad.
Fair.
And so then I I go out again, and like I sternly talk to him, like I don't yell at him, and he's still not moving. I threatened. I was like, I'll call the cops.
It's your only option,
he
yeah.
didn't do anything. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna call the cops. And so I called them, and again they're like, what do you need? I was like, oh, police. And they're like, what's happening? And I was like, dude's hanging out front of the place I work, not
Clearly
cool.
doing drugs,
Yeah. And they're like, does he have a weapon? I was like, he has a screwdriver. I don't know if he knows how to use it as a weapon right now, but he has one.
Facts.
And they're like, okay, we'll open up a report. That was pretty much it. And then waited on the phone with the cop for a while. And she's like, they're a little busy right now with something else that's happening. Like, I'll give you the case number and the non-emergency line. If something else changes, give us a call back. And I was like, okay. He got a little bit worse. He was definitely more agitated and things, and it was not cool, not vibing. So I called them back, and I was like, hey, he's getting worse. And they're like, can't do anything, still busy. And I was like, okay, cool. But when I had called again to give an update about that, like, she answered the phone but was still talking to like other people and like having a social conversation as she was like picking up the phone. And I was like, I'm so glad you're having a good night. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. Anyways, it was a little annoying. But then Eileen was there.
Meanwhile, they're at the scene of a baby murder. But yeah, go on.
No, but like she was like just in
maybe
an office. She wasn't a cop that was out. I don't know. A lot of bad stuff happens in Abbotsford. Don't get me wrong.
It's a fun town.
But like it was kind of annoying. Anyways,
Yep.
So then Eileen was done teaching, and she comes out, and like, so it's me, Cheryl, and Eileen. We're all kind of standing there, like watching this dude. It's like 9:00 at this point. Like all the students are done and gone, but I don't want to leave in case a cop shows up to like get rid of this guy, because I feel like I'm supposed to be there because I called.
Fair.
Type thing. And then, so it's probably like 10 after 9, quarter after 9 or something. And I call back again. I'm like, hey, we're closed. Like, what do I do? And she's like, well, if you want to wait, you can. Or we can just close the
Call it done.
file.
Yeah, go home.
And I was like, I feel like something should happen. So, like, I'll wait a bit longer. So we hung up again. And then Eileen calls her husband. And he comes, pulls in the parking lot, flashes his lights at the dude.
He's like, he does security for something, doesn't he?
No, he's a pilot.
Okay.
But he's like a pretty...
Yeah,
he's a big dude.
I got security vibes from him when I saw him.
No, absolutely. And like he has a very like booming voice if he uses it. So he gets out of the car and just like aggressively yells at this dude and like is walking up to him and is like pointing. He's like, get out of here, like you can't be here, all this. And anyways, so then he goes across the road to McDonald's and is dancing in the parking lot over there.
Yeah. That same guy I saw months later, maybe 2 months later or so, I think it was,
Oh yeah.
get like hardcore arrested.
Yeah.
Like I was just walking to work one day and I'm at the corner and I see him and he's at the like pizza shop, which is also a corner of a business that I see them loiter at often.
Yeah.
And he's just he's kind of dancing and like, oh, that guy's pretty fucking high. And just the other night I saw him, the day before he had been at work kind of not causing problems, but I was like, oh, hey, it's him again.
Yeah.
Wearing the same hat. Like, you know it's
Yeah.
that guy, you know?
Yeah.
And then as I'm like half a block past, I see 2 cop cars rip by me with lights on. And I got noise canceling headphones and that, but I'm like, oh shit, that looks like a thing. And I keep walking, and then another cop car goes by, and I'm like, okay, I'll at least turn around now. And they're all whipped into that parking lot. And I'm like, there's also a Tim Hortons in that parking lot. So I turn around and I go to that Tim Hortons for breakfast instead. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking see this one out. And yeah, we're talking like guns drawn. I think 4 cars overall, because they came from the highway side too. But I just remember the one like shotgun officer on the truck, and everybody else was like, "Put down whatever you like." I don't know if he had something on him or it just like really caused some shit that morning.
Yeah.
But dude, that was I haven't seen the guy ever since.
Yeah.
I don't know if they got
and
rid
then,
of him
like,
or what.
a couple weeks before I quit, or maybe even like the week of me quitting or something, the dude shows up again.
Oh.
And yeah.
Oh, because this happened after you quit the big arrest, didn't it?
No.
Oh,
no.
I thought I hadn't seen him after he got arrested. Okay, sorry.
No. Well, I had seen him again.
Okay.
This was at
All
night.
right. Okay, fair.
And Chris was there, and so was Adrian. And Chris was hanging out because I had told him about the first story, and he's like, "Oh man, I wish I was there to record it," type thing. And he also saw me yell at someone else one day, and he wished he'd recorded it.
That was the famous, like, nobody wants you here one that he loved so much, right?
Oh, maybe that was the same dude. Maybe this happened 3 times.
I think he was around a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So, anyways, it was Chris and Adrian there, and this guy was there, and I was like, I'm not calling the cops again because they do nothing. So I just went out and I yelled at him, and I was like, you can't be here, and just like got really aggressive, and he left.
There you go.
But then Chris was like, man, I should have recorded that because like it's funny, I guess. And then he like made the joke all the time that like nobody wants you here, but that's not what I said. I said you can't be here.
I still remember nobody wants you here. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, that's not what I said.
How are we doing for time so far, man? Oh, dude.
40 minutes.
We're flying. We're flying through. That was almost all. Oh, there's still the one more work story. There's the car on fire.
Oh, yeah. You should tell this one.
It wasn't on fire. That is the spoiler alert of the whole thing. But
I still don't really believe that it wasn't on fire.
Something was not on fire.
Yeah.
Something was smoking viciously. So where there's smoke, there's typically something on fire.
Yeah.
But we were all like, I think it was you, me, and Chris.
Colton.
Colton?
Yeah,
Just
it was
kinda
like
chilling by
middle
your
of the
desk
day.
area. Yeah. So we're by your desk, and there's a window, and there's a car that's like waiting to turn onto the main street that we're on. That it looks like we can see the driver's side of it. It looks like the passenger side front tire is like doing a burnout or something.
Yeah.
Like it's just smoke billowing out, and the driver is just sitting there.
But he's like hunched over a little bit.
Yeah, like texting maybe or something. But like it just
It could have looked like he was passed out though.
Yeah, he's just not reacting at least. And I'm like, we're all kind of freaking because like the smoke is growing. Like this is getting
aggressive.
out of hand. Yeah. So finally, I was like, maybe this guy's like had a stroke or something, and he's like, foot on the brake, foot on the gas. He's doing a burnout. Like I ran over across the fucking street to be like, what's happening here? And he unrolls his window. He's like, hello. I'm like, what? Are you okay? He's like, oh yes, yes. Like you're smoking. He's like, sometimes happens. Sometimes it's like this. I'm like. Like I can barely see him in the car.
Yeah,
like it's billowing.
bad.
And it's not the tire. It turns out, so it's not like he's actually doing a burnout. It's something internal in the car is making this. There's no noise. It's happening or anything. It's just on fire. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're okay. He's like, yes, yes. And then I just walk back across the street, and we watch him sit there for another like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not getting better. And then he turns onto the road and starts driving, and it's just billowing smoke.
It's so bad.
Out of both sides now.
Yeah.
And then he pulls one more street over and sat there for like, I lost track of it.
I don't know.
5-10 minutes, and then I lost it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, that car, it was like a little Toyota Tercel or something too. I don't even know what it was. Like a little old
Just
Honda
a little
Civic
one.
or
Yeah.
some 90s, early 2000s little hatchy thing.
Yeah.
Oh god, man! The level of no worry he had almost worried me. Like now, it's like, did you really have a stroke? Like,
yeah, fair enough.
No,
like looking back on it,
I'm fine. I'm at my table having breakfast. Like, where do you think you are, sir?
Yeah.
Because there's a fire right now.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. That was a trip though.
We can use that to lead right into the one thing we haven't ticked off yet, which is the Trailer Park Boys. Because his car was basically in shitmobile form. Like, it was just as bad.
Honestly.
And pulloverable. Like, I wish he was, like, missing the roof or something. That would have really made it. But that's one thing to tie it all into, like, you living in the studio and being on BC and whatnot. There was a bunch of, like, TV shows I wanted to make you watch while you were here and whatnot. There was, like, The Office and shit like that.
And all of the Adam Sandler movies you wanted.
Which we have this week, maybe, to rock through. But actually, all we've really worked through is the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, that's the only thing we've watched.
Yeah, and we've made it through 7 seasons and a movie now.
Yeah.
Which turns out wasn't the right amount of seasons before a movie. Because you got to get the canon right. Like, everybody ages, and you can't fuck it up. But
yeah,
we're doing okay. We've made it through. I also never checked to make sure the audio wasn't, like, popping. But you know what? It's going to be fine.
Cool.
See the little red dot that happens every once in a while on the end of mine?
Yeah.
That's the pop. Maybe. I can't remember. There's literally technically 2, but in a much real sense 4 audio interfaces plugged into each other to make all this happen. So setting the gain stages right and making sure the stupidest thing I learned when doing all this was that when you plug in an XLR cable or a 1/4-inch cable, those are two different volumes of the same thing. I don't understand how that's physically possible. But, like, if I take the output of that thing and plug it into the input of that thing, and I use an XLR cable, it will clip the inside, and if I don't, it will be fine.
Funky. Okay.
It's weird, man. It's weird. Oh, also, one other thing I can mention. Part of why it might be clipping mine is because I'm using that new microphone preamp that I've never used before. That in and of itself shouldn't clip. Like, it's not like it sucks and will always sound bad. I just haven't dialed it in yet. And it's awesome. It should be amazing. That's what this microphone's going through right now, is a Newton Neve channel, which you don't really care about. But working at the store, you did kind of know about things. And yeah, it's a lot of stuff in one. And look at all the lights that are going off. The top light is the compression, and the bottom light is the actual, like, signal that's coming through it. So you can see it's working hard. It's doing its thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Your mic is also compressed and treated, but
Yeah.
all digitally and shit. This is how they did it with the battles.
Okay.
Those songs about octopuses in their gardens. What's been parts of Trailer Park Boys you've enjoyed? Like, I mean, it's a character-driven, insane show. But, like,
Yeah.
the Bubbles, the Rickies, the.
Ricky kind of bothers me.
He's a lot. I love him.
Fair. Yeah, he's a little much, though. I find him mildly infuriating. Despise Conky. I can't do it. Like, I wanted to.
It's only in so many episodes.
I wanted to like Conky.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to
can't.
like Conky. Like,
Well,
Conky
tolerate.
is the
I
anti-hero.
can't do it. No. I
What's
can't
the
stand
matter?
Conky.
It's just the best.
It's not so bad. Anyways, I love Bubbles. Bubbles is great.
Yep. He's the director, and then also Conky, funny enough. So I guess you just don't like his evil side
I do
character.
understand that he is Conky. I do
got that
know
part?
how puppets work.
Okay. He's a really good ventriloquist.
Yeah. And, like, Leahy, hilarious.
10 out of 10. I think his name is
Yeah.
Jim Dunworth in real life.
Yeah.
He died
Yeah.
somewhat recently, or in the last year or two. And he passed away, I don't want to say conveniently with the show timing, but the show was off air and had just switched to being a cartoon. So the first season of the cartoon is the first season reacting to him no longer, being able to be part of the show. But they can just use audio from things and he's not in the show nearly as much as any other character, but they can get him away. Like, he gets carried off by the shithawks. Like, that's literally what happens. He's like, "See you later, Rand." Like, you hear,
Yeah.
It's a good send off for a character like that. And his daughter's on the show too. Do you know who his daughter is in real life?
No.
Sarah. So the redhead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You did tell me that.
Genuine, yeah, real life family connection there, yeah.
Yeah, I
And-
totally did remember that.
There's so many things I remember growing up watching that show, and learning that, like, Lucy's name's Lucy, and, like, Trevor's Trevor.
I
And,
know,
like, there's so
when
many
we
that-
first started watching the show, and, like, all the
Credits roll.
actors, like, credits and stuff came on, I was like, did they come up with any names?
Well, I remember as a kid being weirded out because I was like, is this the credits, or is this, like, the opening, like, these are the characters?
Yeah.
Because sometimes it'd be like, tonight this is, Derek
Yeah.
and him or whatever. But no, it was just the names of all the people that they went to high school with, essentially, that they put in a show, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
But no, it's great. What about in terms of villainous characters? I mean, there's the Cyrus of the bunch. That's the A1.
Yeah.
That's Joey's favorite for sure. Our other coworker who knows? Maybe I'll have all my coworkers on the podcast at some point.
That'd be hilarious.
You'll all make appearances. The Ian episode will be next level.
Yeah. Man, Ian has so many good stories.
Right?
Yeah.
Once you get him going, man, that guy's great.
I know. Yeah, I'd say Cyrus is probably my favorite.
He's not a villain, but my favorite guest appearance, or one of my favorite guest appearances, is Sebastian Bach. Just because I love Sebastian Bach too, so that's a
fair.
great one to have
Yeah.
pop up.
I feel like Sam's another good one, but I feel like Sam was too much.
Sam the Caveman, Sam
Yeah.
Laskow.
Yeah.
He's great because he's in the show. Like, he goes from being
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
doctor to a dentist to
Yeah.
a caveman to
I just kind of love how random Cyrus is, and he just kind of like pops up here and there. Like all of a sudden he's
I think I don't know if
again.
it's a thing anymore, but I think he was a more successful actor than all the other ones. So I think he was only in it as much as he could be in it, maybe for the first little bit. I don't know.
That's fair.
And we're just up to the seasons now without Corey and Trevor.
Yeah.
That's the movie has Corey and Trevor, so we saw. Well, you saw that. I fell.
Yeah,
asleep.
you fell asleep.
So hard. You put two pillows stacked up there, and like you were over there and I was over here, and it just looked so cozy. And then I lay down and I kind of fit, and yeah, dude, it was lights out.
Yeah, it was a good movie, and it was on my phone. And stuff,
I remembered a little bit of it. Like, at least before we watched it, I didn't remember the plot at all. I was like, oh, I know it's a Trailer Park Boys movie. But then I remembered, oh, it's about doing the big dirty, and like it's about they steal change, and like the next movie we'll watch is Countdown to Liquor Day. That one I kind of remember, and I think it's even better. I think it's a pretty good one. Did the movie you just watched and I slept for have a scene where they steal from a grocery store and Bubbles is super high in the car? Was that in the movie, or have you seen that scene in the show? There's a great one where Bubbles is smoking a bong in the car.
That's in the show.
Okay,
that was like a season or two back.
It's a season opener. And it's one of the best ones. I think it's the season 7 opener, actually, because it was probably just after the movie that we saw, canonically or whatever. But yeah, he gets on the walkie-talkie in the wrong frequency, and he like broadcasts over the whole thing. I think that's season 7. I think that's my peak season. You have not seen all the seasons, and you've only seen it one time, so I'm not about to ask you what your favorite season is, because it's all one big blur.
Yeah, especially in the nights that we like watch 2 seasons
or 4.
Yeah,
and power through them. Do you think when you go over to UVic and whatnot and live the rest of your life, will you ever watch the Trailer Park Boys again? Will that go on shuffle?
I think so. I feel like it'll be a good background show.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be familiar enough that, like,
and it's super Canadian. Like, it gives you homey vibes, because you're just like, oh, that's a lot of Canadianisms, right? Even though they're, I think they're Newfies, for the most, aren't they? Or where are they?
I know it's the Maritimes.
Yeah, they're definitely not West Coast, let's put it that way.
I don't know.
Maybe
Nova Scotia?
Google it up, bro. I think
I turned my phone off because it was going to buzz a lot.
Oh, fair,
I get notifications all the time.
Mine's way over there.
Yeah.
We're nearing an hour. I haven't gone over an hour on any of these yet. Usually around this point, I'm running out of things to talk about, and I'm like, here's an outro thing, and then it's over. We have crossed everything off the list. Is there anything more you want to go over or whatnot? What can we end this on a bang? Can you think of any more great stories? We have not talked at all about Kevin and you trying to meet my kitten.
Oh, man.
Kevin's been on the podcast. The audience knows this cat more than you do, basically in terms of time seen.
Yeah.
So, like, my grandma and everybody I know will, like, bug me about coming over to meet the cat. And I'm like, you can come over. You're not going to meet the cat. Piper lived here for this whole time, and Kevin will never see you. Today, Kevin came in here.
Yeah, like, the only times Kevin has seen me in person on her own free will...
we'll force her sometimes.
...is when, like, she thought that I wasn't here.
Yeah, you'll be, like, on your bed, chilling there. I was recording and I had a podcast on, so there was, like, chit-chatter and noise and stuff, and you were just silent. I'm doing stuff, and then, you were like...
Yeah, Kevin walked in, looked at me, kind of kept going, and you were busy doing your thing, but I was like, Rick... And then she heard me.
And then I just saw the black bolt go.
Yeah. Like,
that cat, man.
Almost feel like I shouldn't have said anything, but
she may have jumped up onto, like, there or something. Like, the desk is her jungle gym, right? Like, that's the kiddie playground.
Yeah.
I do, like, I have to figure out, so my computer, right where it is, that's obviously where it goes, middle of the desk.
Yes.
So with the big black piece of furniture there, it's up a little bit, and then I like having that shelf underneath there, because there is stuff there. There's, like, an audio interface, and it's just nice to have more space, and I feel like it keeps it cleaner looking. But with the computer up on that shelf, it can either be way at the back there, at as far back as it can go right now, or I can slide it way forward there too, right? When it's way at the back, Kevin will just stand in front of it, and then she's in between me and my screen, which is frustrating. Or if I bring it all the way forward, she'll genuinely lay down behind there, but it's not big enough for her, so she, like, is going to knock it over one day.
I feel like having it at the back is a better solution than having her knock shit over, though.
But she still may knock it over the other direction one day. You know what I mean? Like, there's still the chance of... Because she's growing. That's what's happening right now. Like, all of her spots are outgrowing her. Or she's... You know what I mean? She's getting to be a cat-sized cat. She
Yeah.
did even climb through that thing before there was the synths there. But now there's not room, clearly. Though I will see, with having the computer at the back, it's better, because if she lives behind there, she will fuck with my pens and stuff. Like a little paw come. There's actually the video that I posted the other day was open mic practice. Oh, I may have deleted. I deleted the whole clip, but it's. I think it's in the clip if you watch it. A pen just flies off the table, like it just comes at me, and it's Kevin back there, just vibing. I still want to put that drum machine on an angle, like so it just takes up less space there.
Yeah.
And then I'll put a cat bed there. I feel like there'd be room, and she can plip, plip, plip up and whatnot. And then maybe I'll still delete this cabinet, put in a keyboard one day.
I think you should put like a cat jungle gym around the walls of this room.
I thought about putting a...
Other than the fact that she would 100% knock over your guitars.
Well, they're locked in. That's the thing. I always tell people when
Yeah.
they're like, that's one of my sales quotes. I'm like, do you have kids or cats? Like, get the one with the lock on it. Otherwise, who cares?
Yeah.
But no, locks are important. I was going to with that long wall in the living room. I was thinking about putting like some just 2x4s or 4x6s or whatever, and you know,
Yeah.
making a zigzag cat thing. But then that'll kick off the wall a lot too. So,
I mean, you
knows?
could even do that from like looking at the main wall from like the kitchen dining room area and leave like the living room part of it open so you can do whatever you want there.
Like above the dining room table.
Yeah,
there too. Yeah, 'cause
like
it
in
doesn't take
there.
up the whole wall too. You could
Yeah.
definitely step it down.
Yeah, you
but I
could do
feel
whatever you
like
wanted.
we're totally nobody cares about this now.
Yeah,
This is
not-
definitely a sign we should end.
not at all.
But I feel like it shouldn't go in that little spot where you have to walk, like where the cat water is. I feel like it would get too tight there if there was anything. Or unless maybe there's a really high shelf, you know, because you
Yeah,
could do
yeah.
whatever.
No, I would like. It'd probably be better if it was definitely higher there.
Dude, you know what? I just got the best idea for ever. Is this could work? So picture it. You know the amount of room we've got.
Yeah.
And what did we just say? We're like, but for the kitchen, it would have to be higher, but you know it could be lower-ish, and then it could go down, and then it'd have to be higher when you walk by it, and then it could go back down again. And then before we go back up, hear me out. You use 4x6s, and you cut them, and you make because like obviously you know. It's the world, Piper. North America, South America, a little like there's Iceland is you know between the kitchen and the there's the walking spot, and then big old Russia is in the living room, and then I could have the world for Kevin to play in.
Wow.
I don't know if it could be HD enough, you know, with line art. I'm talking line art planets.
Yeah. You mean countries and continents, not planets?
What's the whole planet? And I'm not going to draw borders.
Yeah. That is ambitious, and you needed me to be here to decorate a wall. So,
Yeah. At one point, I considered hiring a painter and having them paint all the Simpsons characters on that wall. I just want to do... It's the biggest wall of the place.
I honestly was going to suggest you should just get a mural done.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Simpsons
Yeah.
characters. I was like, as many as you can do, man, as far as the eye can see. I want to start with the family life size, and then all the background characters.
That's terrifying. Aren't the Simpsons characters, like, actually, like, really tall or something?
Well, it's
like
a painting,
7
Piper. They're
foot?
not going to come to life. But it would fit.
No.
That's the thing. It would fit. See?
Well, yeah.
You do them in, like, the kitchen. You could do... Dude, you do them on the couch in the kitchen at the wraparound. So they're, like, in...
Sorry, you said wraparound. I'm pictured Leahy.
A little wraparound, a little wraparound.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm talking about? So, like, the famous couch from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
You paint that in the kitchen on the wall that the fridge is on.
Yeah.
So then when you put the dining room table up there, it just looks like they're sitting at the dining room table with you.
Yeah.
And with
That'd be
that,
fun.
we're at 58 minutes.
Wow.
That's an idea that will never happen, I'm almost certain. But if it does, I will cut in a video of it all going together, and this bit will come from the past.
Yes.
And I'll give you credit for
Wow.
helping me come up with the idea.
Perfect.
Yeah. This has been episode 7, bro. Any closing remarks? Anything else you want to add?
This is better production than the last podcast I was on.
I forgot, you have almost more podcast experience than me.
I've been on like 3 episodes of a podcast I can't even remember the name of.
I can't forget this one's name because it's pretty tied into things.
Yeah.
And with that, this has been the Rick Chappell Podcast, episode 7. As always, go over to rickchappell.com for links to other things I do. There's like music, there's videos, there's all kinds of shenanigans. There's even a clinic. Oh, I thought the computer just killed itself and I was about to cry. Oh, that's a good sign. Thank you for watching, folks. Goodbye.